President Biden's massive infrastructure law includes a landmark car safety measure that was prompted by a 6-year CBS News investigation. Crash tests like this one show the problem revealed by our reporting. A federal safety standard dating back to 1967 leaves vehicle front seats susceptible to collapse in rear-end crashes. In response, lawmakers passed legislation aimed at addressing the issue within 2 years. Kris Van Cleave spoke with the Colorado family that spurred our reporting.
16-month-old Taylor Warner had just started walking when a ride in the family minivan turned deadly.
I've always thought of trying to justify why did Tay die. I don't want her to die in vain.
The Warners were rear-ended. The force of the crash caused her father Andy's seat to collapse backwards, colliding with Taylor, who is strapped in her car seat. Sunday marked 11 years since that accident. Her parents came to her grave to reflect on how this year is finally different.
Bravo.
The newly signed infrastructure bill mandates change inspired by the tragedy that befell the Warners and dozens of other families identified by CBS News.
When we spoke to you in 2015, we hadn't really known where this was going to go. Just thinking every day I'd get in the car, what if this happens again? What if we lose another child until this can change?
We found crash test after crash test after crash test, showing what can happen when a seat collapses. But every single seat met or exceeded the half-century-old federal strength standard. So does a banquet chair.
200.
In the early 90s, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's own researchers warned the agency about seatback collapses, citing examples of major or fatal injuries. And car makers have long known it's an issue. In a 1996 deposition, a General Motors engineer said the cost to fix it was on the order of $1 or so per seat.
There are too many lives of children that are being needlessly lost.
Crash investigator Ken Sachalski has been trying to change the standard since 1989, including on 60 Minutes.
It's an inadequate standard. It's flawed as far as I'm concerned.
And again in 2015.
It's basically the same today as it was then. It's a worthless standard.
3 decades after you told NHTSA there was a problem, Congress has passed something that tells NHTSA there's a problem. Are you at least optimistic?
I am optimistic. I think it'll get done.
In response to our reporting, Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey introduced legislation to fix the problem. Regulators now have 2 years to draft a new strength standard pending approval by the Secretary of Transportation.
CBS and the families put the spotlight on this critical issue. Now it's time for NHTSA to respond.
Happy birthday!
As Andy and Liz Warner remember Taylor 11 years later, they're now finding a moment of peace amid their heartbreak.
You always second guess yourself as being the person that was in that seat. Knowing that legislation is being passed helps take some of that weight off my shoulders.
We still miss her every day, but that we know that her life meant something. We love her and we're very proud of her and thank her for what she's doing to help others in the future.
Now, NHTSA says safety is its top priority and it will work to meet its congressional mandates. Of course, the obvious question is, where do you put your children? Well, safety experts continue to tell us the back seat is the safest place, but to consider putting a child behind the passenger seat if it's empty or in the middle of the back seat if both front seats are in use. Nate?
It's a little tricky if you have a family of 4.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Parents' worst nightmare. These tragedies that could be avoided, they must prompt change.
Kris, tremendous reporting. I'm sorry to interject. I just have to say.
No, I get it.
And
parents.
You've got these federal standards that are supposed to protect people, and they're not, clearly. And now there's a 2-year timetable to address it. What about all the people driving around right now?
Time is of the essence. Yeah, we can save children's lives, that's for sure. Kris, thank you so much.